Hello everyone once again and welcome back to the Mania World Cup 2016. How are you guys doing? Are you excited? My name is Juan Crystal and this time I'll be commentating the match between France and South Korea with my friend Connor, Shoegazer and Deadbeat. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm pretty exhausted, but I think this match is going to wake me up for a little bit.
Yeah, can't wait to see what kind of a fight France puts up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually really curious about it because we all know that South Korea is like the team to beat in the tournament. Is probably the best team of the tournament in every single stage. And France, though, has been putting out really good performances in general, and they have good enough players to put a fight against South Korea in probably any round until the finals. Although the map pool is a bit too hard maybe for them, I will not be that surprised if France can take at least 1 point here.
Yeah, I think France can take a couple of points off South Korea if they pick the right charts, like maybe say Darkfly Dreamer if that doesn't get banned. I think South Korea will ban that, but exercise the point. Like, I know France can definitely get some points if they worked hard with some of the SV picks, for example. Not too sure about South Korea's practice though. What do you think, Connor?
Well, I think that it's only really going to be down to long notes that gives France any kind of chance. I can't see them winning on consistency picks.
Yeah.
I really can't see anyone picking Apparition in this match either.
Yeah, that's...
There is one thing though that bothers me a little bit. France has only one ban, same for South Korea. But if you ban Apparition, you will get Legendaria. What do you think it's a better pick though for South Korea there? Like, who do you think France should ban between those two?
I think, like, France has noticeably weaker speed players. Players like Toadstream, Adrian to some extent, Lim, and pretty much any player that's not Bumpin' Ho has this speed disadvantage compared to like the speed demons that South Korea has. Well, Apparition isn't anywhere as fast. It's about 240 BPM, and it's constant. Like, I think that's the better bet, like, to pick Apparition, or rather just ban Vec Legendaria, because there's a very little chance that they'll actually beat South Korea in that chart because of their weaker players.
Alright, but Legendaria was short actually, right? It wasn't that long.
It's one of the shortest picks. It's about 2 minutes long. The hard section is about 10 to 15 seconds long.
Well, then that probably makes more sense to keep unbanned, because Apparition is such a long song that it can probably hurt your performances in following maps if you have issues with stamina or to handle that speed.
Yeah, if you're convinced that you're going to lose on both of them, it's probably best to ban the 8-minute pick.
Yeah.
Well, I can see it being demoralizing, but I personally see Apparition as something that France and South Korea do not want to touch, because France has better picks. South Korea is probably go for the shorter picks because their attention span and all. The players are way better with short stuff.
Yeah, I can see it being a less common ban, but not a common pick.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
I mean, in general, we will probably not see much about Apparition. I don't think it will be a map that it's that much of a pick. Maybe a ban eventually in some matches, but having stuff like Legendaria or having stuff like Darkfly Dreamer, even Egoism, if the situation is there.
Egoism?
Yeah, I mean, the SPs are not that hard. The map is probably the easier one of the pool, but if you don't have time to practice the SVs or you think you will win anyways in any other map, it's probably better to ban that one instead.
Maybe. I was thinking of Kamui being the better ban, actually.
If I
Kamui, I don't know. What?
I just want to quickly mention something. For those of you who are following, like, especially during matches, we've had like the MP links available in Twitch commands. We actually have brand new multiplayer history links available on the new website design. So if you guys want to check that out, definitely have a look at the MP links, as they will redirect you to the new super fancy multiplayer history links, which look
Oh
super
wow,
fancy and
it
awesome.
looks amazing. I'm just seeing it. It's the first time I'm seeing this.
Yeah, I
Excellent.
think credits for that go to Liquid PL. I think he's the one who did it. But yeah,
Oh,
so
wow.
we've got awesome new multiplayer history pages that you guys should totally go and enjoy.
That's so colourful.
That's pretty neat.
The amount of points for each team looks pretty good.
Yeah. Lots of information, too.
Well, for those who are wondering, seems like Adrian is having a little bit of a connection issue. You're yet not too sure.
Well, Benho as well, apparently. But never mind. Yeah, I guess Adrian's gonna be soft for a little while.
It looks like Lim is not here though.
I'm not too sure what time it is in France right now. I think it should be afternoon. Not too sure.
It's 1:30.
Yeah, maybe Lim might be busy at this time. Not too sure. Afternoon is a pretty busy day, depending on.
Alright, so instead of Adrian, we will see Elementars here.
I guess it's a good time to point out like Elementary's specialization. He's pretty good, and I think that will be a major contribution to any picks that France will be doing, like Sumo Win, Darkflight Dreamer, Lemon Summer, Oshama Scramble. I think all of those picks will be something that Elementaries might participate in.
Well, even if you are a good long no player, those picks are brutal, especially on B2 now that the HP drain is a pain in general for most of the players. Even those who can handle long nodes properly, as soon as you miss like twice, 3, 4 times in a row, your HP can drain to 0 so quickly. And with a HP 8 file like Darkflight Dreamer, it's quite hard to recover as well if you're not getting really good judgment, so probably it's a really risky pick even if you are strong and competent on long nodes. It might turn into a point that a whole team fails that map in this particular stage in the semifinals.
Well, you'll definitely
Maybe
be able
for-
to see which teams practice in Scorby 1 and which practice in Scorby 2 for that map.
I don't think that mattered too much, Connor.
No, I mean, for,
Yeah.
for who knows whether or not you fail.
Well, if you fail, you cannot really do much about it, even if you play on Scorby 2, like...
It's, yeah, even if you know that you're gonna fail in Score V2, like, that's gonna be dead weight regardless. Anyway, Juan, regarding what you said about long note HP drain, I guess there's one thing to point out that if you miss a long note entirely, it counts as 2 misses, which is why your life bar drops so much. But you should be failing at 2 or 3 misses. There's maybe about 4 or 5, but I'm not entirely
Yeah.
sure what, well, the reason why Darkflight Dreamer is so hard and why he fails so easily is because it's very easy to get an early miss rush, and since missing a long note with early misses is like 2 misses basically, you can practically fail super easily.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to combo break a lot on that, especially on the end, I will say. Like, if you are a good long no player, you should not have too much issues until the end. In the end, though, you will suffer, probably, to keep up.
Yeah, but at the same time, it is their best picks compared
Yeah,
to
that's
like
true.
the more consistent.
There's also one thing to point out, and I don't know if I'm absolutely right or not, but I'm not seeing Windy S warm-up ping.
Windy S might just be on the side. Maybe Windy S might not be super consistent. Maybe Jacket A, Cheetos, and Kobo are more consistent, especially Kobo, which I've talked before that he is deadly consistent, especially in soft, where you also commentated actually. In Connor.
Yeah, we saw Kobo taking the whole tournament at the end, actually doing a fantastic job in terms of consistency. And I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls out something like that here for the Mania World Cup at all. The thing that I was mentioning is that Windy S is probably better than Kobo when it comes to long nose, I will say.
Oh, absolutely. Windy is an absolute beast at long notes, and probably will replace like Jacket A's or Cheetos when it comes to long note picks. Because Jacket A's and Cheetos seem to have a small deficit when it comes to long note charts. At least coming from them. Maybe they're underestimating their long note ability, but I don't really know these players' long note abilities in general, so we'll have to see whether or not there's going to be a replacement or whether or not Jacket A's or Cheetos are just underestimating how good they really are at long notes.
Yeah, and there's also the B2 factor, so...
Oh
What's up?
yeah, B2.
It's always good to have a spare O2 Jam player on your team for the long note.
Elementarians and Windy S represent.
Oh, just by the way, Bumpin' Ho has told me that Lim is not around.
Oh, that's a shame, not having your full team for such an important match against, like, South Korea.
This chart, wow.
Yeah.
Pass.
There's a map by Jackats, actually.
Jacket A's, I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Not sorry, actually. Your fault for having such a difficult to pronounce name.
I'm just gonna say how it looks. You can
Yeah.
moan at me later.
I'm surprised about how good South Korea is holding right now. Cheetos and Jackats, both with the 100%, but both dropping there, but still really good performance there. Elementar is having a lot of issues with the triple jacks.
Yeah, Elementaris is not a speed player by any means. He's more for long note picks and speed picks, like Egoism or Lemon Summer. This is 273 BPM, I think.
Oh, those bursts.
Yeah, pretty fast. Oh wow, that transition is nasty. Yeah, this seems pretty jack heavy overall. I guess this is like a good testament to show how good these South Korean players are at speed. And Bumpin' Ho is doing pretty good as well with about 99.4.
And I'm just keep watching Jagged's screen though, he's still full comboing there. And for a moment he was holding an amazing judgment. Like in the jumps, in the jacks, the triples, like this kind of sections, he just demolished them.
Yeah. This is Cheetos and Jacket A's MO, basically.
Oh, the miss from Kama at the end.
Double, please.
Wow, the ratio there.
That ratio, 9-1. That is sickening.
Well, then that will be it for the warm-ups though. It will be France the first one picking, South Korea the first one banning, as you can see for the rolls. Bumping Ho taking it for 40 points of difference.
I think, since South Korea is banning, I think they're going to ban Darkflight Dreamer, mainly because Jacket A's and Cheetos has issues with long note stuff, and I don't think they really want to afford having one player failing. Oh no, that.
I don't think Korea will have the issue of failing something.
Well, they'll fail Darkflight Dreamer probably. Kamui is another viable one which they ban. That takes a lot of time investment, and it's really hard to time due to OD9 among other things. France has to ban like Apparition or Red Legendaria. It's like one of the lesser evils, really. Like, while I think they have a better chance of winning an Apparition, I don't think it really matters because if you lose, it's really demoralizing. Like, and Pumpkin Hole banning Apparition. Yeah, it's gonna be a short match.
Alright, so it will be Apparition and Camoon.
That's correct. And France gets the first pick. I'm assuming they're gonna pick like Lemon Summer or Lemon Summer or Smooth. Oh no. South Korea will probably go for the more consistent, shorter picks. Like Sapphire, God of Madness, Egoism if they're really daring. Like basically the ones that are shorter than 2.5 minutes. Oh, bump France with Egoism 440.
Yep, there we go. Starting from the beat, like from the start with a SV pick here.
This is one of the easier SV picks, like compared to say Foolish Hero from last round. But even so, this is not sight readable, and there's one stop in particular that might trick players if they're not conscious of it. It took me a while to nail that last stop. But
it took me a while to nail the whole map.
Well, it's certainly harder physically, isn't it?
Yeah. The map pool as a whole is pretty hard physically. God, I love this map. This song is so cool too. Alright. Match. First round is starting. Egoism 440 challenge difficulty. Best of 11. This is a good pick from France, mainly because this is very easy when it comes to physical difficulty, speed. One of the better chances of winning. It's not particularly high though.
Oh, Cole is having issues with his low jumps there. Actually, Toad's right on elevators as well.
Let me take the drop.
Yeah, Kobo missed one of the first notes.
Oh man. Tortoiseshoe's accuracy just not picking up, and Elementary's accuracy dropping. Now we're entering the first stop section.
Oh, with a miss. Actually, quite surprised that he is the one dropping, though.
Elementary dropped twice. Tortoiseshoe dropping as well. Cheetos and
Jackass and Cheetos. The water is still 100%. Another slow jump now.
Cheeto dropping his double S, but that doesn't even come close to mattering. 80,000 point difference so far. And basically, Jackaday, Cheetos, and Kobo have to miss like twice in a row. Not even in a row, that's twice all over the place. Now there's stop section.
Well, they can fail though. You have enough time to fail here. At the end,
yeah.
You miss a little bit with the SVs. But that will be
Maybe,
probably the only chance for friends. Like, the difference is just too big now.
It's really unlikely.
Yeah, it just seems
That's
like
the last stop section.
Elementars and Toadastream just not able to hold combo on this map, especially during the SV.
South Korea with a stranglehold, 400,000 points of difference. Look at those ratios from Jackadeus and Cheetos, like 10-1. Pumpkin Hove a very good performance as well with an FC, well, near FC. But these two players, along with Kobo, who performed really well himself. Wow. I guess you guys can see how powerful, how strong South Korea is in 4K Osamina World Cup.
Well, when you have two players that can consistently full combo the maps from the semifinals pool, you know you have a really good team.
Yeah. This is much, much harder than last year's map pool. hardest map being something like a NS18 or John Tanaka's game, which is like one of the lower end charts for semifinals. Where Adrian is here, so we should be having a swap between Elementarius and Adrian. But this is South Korea's pick, and South Korea is probably gonna pick a short, consistent pick like Sapphire or Egoism is already picked. Sapphire, God of Madness, very short picks, but gets the job done. They have a very high chance of winning. Bow Down to Ignorant Fools is the next pick. This is a pretty good pick, considering that their warm-up was pretty jack-based, and while Bow Down to Ignorant Fools is 30 BPM faster, the patterns are way, way easier because they're either two-handed, or, well, not two-handed, one-handed, or they're just very short. The only jacks that are hard are the ones at the end. We should be fine with this. Man, if there's any signal to show how good South Korea is at jacks, you'll be like the difference between scores in this is going to be massive. And here we go, round 2. What is she gonna drop? Yeah?
I think Bumpin' Home missed the entire first note.
Yeah, the percentage. Very, very low. Not good. Like, all 3 players have lost their FC, where Jackaday, Cheetos, and Kobo with near double S's. Even Cheeto and Jackaday with the double S. Or Jack card, I don't know, man. Otoshib seeing major issues hitting pretty late. Adrian not doing Adrian doing pretty well himself, but not quite as stable as some of the other players. Jackaday's hit window is super tight along with pretty much the rest of the South Korean team. Bumpinho, the strongest player in the French team, is having notable issues with stability as well, but still good enough for a double S.
Bit hard to compete with 2 double S's, and I believe Kobo's only on about 4 200s when one of your players has 96%.
Yeah. No player in the French team come even close to South Korea so far. It's about 150,000 point difference, and we're only a third of the way through. And it's like the bursts just keep coming.
Seems like Jackads went from 100% to having a combo drop.
Yeah, like, it's pretty easy to get to lose track, but considering the massive lead that South Korea is currently having, it's not too much of a problem.
Yeah, it's around 200,000 halfway through the map.
Yeah. And when I talked about Jackadays are just losing track, this can also happen to the French team as well. Like what Totoshib and Adrian are currently facing so far. Totoshib just hitting very late, just can't keep up with the jack speed. Even though getting his second win, but not close. Not even close to what they can get to. What the South Korean players can get so far. Some of these transitions are pretty nasty. Like you can see Totoshib just getting lots of 200s and worse judgments because he just can't keep up with some of the nasty transitions. Still holding an S is pretty good. Yeah.
I don't know, it's like really catchy and really not catchy at the same time. It's weird.
It's kind of a marvel with iOS to speak for really. More version coming. Adrian just losing track of where he's at right now. I don't blame him. This is really relentless. Bump and Ho approaching the 99%, but there's a hard part coming. Containing mainly 5-note jack. 6-note, sorry. Bump and Ho doing pretty good. The Korean player is doing as pretty good as we expected.
And Cheeto's willful combo.
Oh wow.
Alright.
SodaStream barely holding the ass.
Nice job to the France players for just getting an S rank. This is one of the harder picks in my opinion. But South Korea with that 410,000 point difference and 8 200s from Cheetos and Kobo. Jackaday have a better ratio, but he messed up significantly in certain sections, but nowhere, not that much of a problem.
He
Next
still
pick,
has a better score than
Bump
Bumping
and
Ho.
Yeah. All right. Bump and Ho just immediately going for Love Love Whistle, which is one of the easiest picks in the pool. Containing 300 BPM birds that are kind of hard to time, but the hardest part of the chart will probably be the 240 BPM jump shoots in the chart.
That sounds like fast, but not that fast.
Yeah, Sapphire is comparable.
It's interesting to see that Kobo had the worst ratio on the Korean team.
At that point, it doesn't really matter because there's a lot of 1-8 bursts that you can't really control at that point. And I'd say, like for charts like that, like good ratios are essentially come from variance rather than actual skill rather. Because most of the bursts you just can't hit legit. You have to jump over them, and whether or not you hit early or late or just middle, it's just completely due to variance really. Are you discussing about offset or something? South Korean team seems to be discussing about -20, -10 or something.
Okay.
I guess it's some offset thing or something.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Right. Round 3.
Yep, there we go. Let's see if friends can keep the consistency up in one of the easiest pick of the pool here. Like, usually trying to go for a consistency or accuracy battle against South Korea is a bad idea, but given the difficulty of the pool, when you definitely have no chance to keep up with the hard stuff,
You don't have a choice.
is actually, yeah, you don't really have too much of a choice. I like how the long note picks are actually being ignored this match.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like, I predicted France to go for long note picks, but I guess they're not too confident with their long note ability.
I think it's mostly because Lim's not in the team at the moment.
Probably.
Oh, Adrian.
And
No,
with
Adrian.
hitting very late. Dropping to like 92%.
I don't know if
Not
he
good.
cannot keep up the speed or he's just having some kind of issue because the issue's just too big to actually believe it.
Like, alright, he's recovering, but not enough. No players in South Korean side with the double S, which I kind of expected because those 1-8 burst sections is really rough. But 99.9% regardless. End screen section, pretty easy. All notes.
Noodles.
Noodles. Pronounce it, man. Pronounce it with me. Noodles.
Noodles.
Cheetos they actually dropped in the long note section.
That's interesting.
Which is actually pretty interesting as well, is that we already mentioned that the United States is probably one of the weaker teams when it comes to top 6 teams in long notes.
Yeah.
And we are actually kind of seeing that South Korea has a deadly consistency. They can full combo a lot of stuff that probably most of the players on the tournament cannot. But yet they have issues with such a simple section of long nose like Cheetos just had. It makes me believe that the finals, if they end up being South Korea against the United States, which is likely to be the case, if the US beats UK and South Korea wins here, we will have at least one match of the finals between both of these teams. Will be really interesting to see how they manage to keep with the long no picks, because even this is a best of 11, a lot of maps has to be picked and only 2 can be ignored.
Well, to be fair, I think Cheetos is nailing these long nose sections just fine. Like, he missing a long nose, sure, but it's just a very minor mistake. Whereas a player like Shadow or Zip, for example, might have a more catastrophic error. So I can see like Total Street choking as well. The song should be ending soon with a 200,000 point gap so far. Pretty massive given the...
Yeah, I mean, it's a big difference, definitely, but it's half of what we saw previously in the other maps. Definitely showing that this map is not as hard as the others.
Easier. Yeah. You can see Adrian with an extremely high 200 count from the 1-8 bird section earlier. But Total Sheep doing very good. Bump and Hope as well. Adrian just did pretty well in the 240 BPM section. Jacket A's with a very good ratio. Actually, all 3 South Korean players have a near 10-to-1 ratio. Some exceeding, like Cheetos, for example. Next pick will be South Korea's pick. Man, like, how can you even come close to being like South Korea with this map pool? Maybe for the finals map pool, like a team like Brazil or South or United States can come close, but considering that these players, Jacket A, Cheetos, Kobo, all have a stranglehold with some of the hardest charts in this pool. And I wonder if South Korea is going to pick the hardest speed chart in the pool.
Legendary time, probably.
Does seem likely. Maybe they want to leave it until later on when more warmed up. Really depends.
They're talking about long nose now for some reason.
If they take Lemon Summer, that is a huge twist from what I was expecting.
Well, I will say if you're not really strong when it comes to long nose and you have to pick a long nose map, it will probably be Lemon Summer, I think. Like, oh my god. Alright.
Oh, Jacket is staying too.
And Windy S is probably going in, replacing Kovo, which is alright, I guess.
But I expected Kobo to stay because I thought Kobo was very adept at long notes. Maybe they just don't think it's that much below risk, maybe? I don't know. I think we're getting a lemon. Total Sheep just cannot do long notes from what I remember. There we go, there's Elementaires. Windy S. No.
I'd say this is probably the riskiest pick for South Korea.
Yeah, it is. Like, from what I've seen from other players with Score V2, you can actually fail with like 97%, for example. It's ridiculous. And I know that Windy S can probably get like 99 or something because his long note ability is pretty much unparalleled compared to the rest of the players in the tournament. But Jacket A's and Cheetos, I'm not sure. Considering that they have said that they're rather weak in long notes. Have to see. I'm kind of concerned about.
I'll say that they are stronger than Friends overall, but definitely not at the level of Windy S. Like, this is a map that is risky for South Korea because you have that really low percentage, like really low chance for you to fail. Because this map is actually, you can fail even if you are holding a really amazing performance. Like I saw scores of 900,000 being fails.
That sounds about right. Like long notes are really harsh because again, like you can get early miss rushes in the long note sections in Dark by Junior, especially the third chorus, and 6 misses, which can be very easy to get with early misses, is an insta fail.
Yep, and maybe bad judgments can hurt a little bit your HP bar. As you can see, Elementaires just with a couple of drops, they're dropping quarter of the HP bar.
Wow. Bump and Ho going insane. Adrian and Elementaires having some issues, but they're doing kind of fine. Jackass and Cheeto doing way better than I expected.
Adrian is almost dead. Look at that HP bar.
Wow. He misses, man.
He's slowly recovering, but this is the bad thing about HP 8. Even though it feels like a lot more, I will say honestly, because HP 8 doesn't sound too hard to recover, but when it comes to a long node map, when the drain is harder to recover because the amount of nodes is actually lower than a normal node chart. Yeah, you have a little bit of time where you can recover while holding long nodes. That has been fixed on Core V2 not so long ago, but still it's probably not enough in HP 8 to make a big difference. Like, we had the easy section here already and Adrian is still not at full HP, and dropping once again into half and entering the chorus, that is something to watch out for sure.
Yeah, and now we're entering the second chorus, which is the hardest part of the tournament, those triple long notes. And as you can see, Adrian and Elementaires having massive issues. Elementaire actually failing. Same for Adrian.
Windy S only just dropped double S a second ago.
What? He's still holding 99.99. What in the world? Score V2? No problem, man. I can handle this. Jesus.
What? Yeah,
what in the world are we even seeing?
I'm pretty sure he's only on 1/200.
Yeah, he is. One thing to point out, long notes in V2 are significantly harder than V1. And seeing Windy has cut through all of that, and not to say that Bump Into Jackass and Cheetos aren't doing bad themselves, but Windy is just on a completely different level right now.
Another 200 by him, but does that really even matter?
It's not.
Like, Elementaires failed again, Adrian as well. Cheetos is dropping slowly close to the fail level, but he's recovering fast enough. But I'm just shocked. I just cannot believe what VDS is doing right now. I think I never saw something like this.
I've never seen anyone decimate a long note chart like that. Ever. Jeez. Okay. 99%.
Now you know that you don't have to pick long notes against South Korea.
India just left immediately or something. But like that average accuracy from South Korea is like 99.5%. And like an average player from the United States, for example, will probably get like 94%. In Brazil, about 97%. That is massive. Bumpino doing really good himself, however, like 99.35% is still really good, especially with Score V2. But jeez, everybody.
I don't know. I'm just shocked. Like, Windy ass. What are you even doing, man?
Welcome to the Osamina World Cup, Windy S. Hope you enjoy your stay. France immediately kicking can construction. This is one of the easier picks as well, but the polyrhythm section and Dench handling sections are also pretty rough. I just want to point out, like, Bump and Ho is doing exceptionally good, like, coming close to some of the stronger players in South Korea. Not even some of the strong players, but some of the players in the South Korean team doing a really good job, and I'm really impressed with his performance so far. Wow! Jackass and Windy S swapping with Kobo and Guma. We haven't seen Guma in the tournament, actually, I think.
I don't think so. Like, I don't remember seeing him in group stages, so... And yeah. They didn't play in quarterfinals, and around 16, I think it was just Kobo, Cheetos, and Jackass.
Interesting. I know Guma is the weakest of the South Korean players, but that doesn't really. That's like that's just undermining Guma's ability. He is pretty good. Like, he can definitely take on like Bump and Ho, for example, maybe slightly under Bump and Ho's ability. Considering that Totoshib and Adrian are significantly worse than Guma overall, that doesn't really matter too much. We will see what will happen.
Guma with the 100s on the first notes. Strong start.
Alright, the French players are already dropping. Seems like France has a noticeable weakness when it comes to jacks in general. Like Adrian and Toads are just combo breaking probably the easier parts of the song just because they had a lot of jacks.
Yeah, Toda Street is mainly known for his jump stream ability. It's not the greatest, like probably like 8th down, 9th down ability, but jeez. I didn't really realize Toda Street's ability with jacks is not that strong overall. Yuma actually doing not very good himself with 99.14%. Could be an offset issue.
Yeah, he's hitting a little bit too early.
Pump and Ho, Cheat Kobo, and Cheetos with 99.8% plus. Kobo dropping from double S to 99.8, I believe, with a drop.
Point out that the score difference this time is at least not that big. Look at that. They are like a quarter
40,000.
into the song. It's like 40,000, yeah.
Well, to be fair, we haven't reached the hardest part of the song yet. Well, hardest half of the song. Harder half. Yuma seems to be recovering to 99.4. Ooh, 8 hits the drop. I wouldn't blame him. Those low notes are really, really sudden. Now the chart is slowing down, I believe. The swing section.
This is so likey.
Yeah, this is a pretty dikey chart. I mean, boats, swing, PR. That's a dikey chart if I know of any. Bump and Hope in 99.9 practically comparable to Kobo and Cheeto so far, but we are entering one of the harder parts of the chart. 250 BPM hand streams.
Ouch.
Bump
least
and
they are
Hope
not
slicing
that long.
through it. Yeah, they're not long. Actually, every player is slicing through it pretty well. Photoshop hitting a bit late, but not that bad. Luma with a drop, interesting. Adrian with another drop, Toda Sheep as well.
Adrian is probably the one having more issues for this section. Toads is slowly getting into that sweet level of accuracy in the judgment bar, but still holding a pretty low accuracy compared to the others. Like, it's the only one who's not in the 99s.
Should be approaching. The jacks. The burst, I forgot about those.
Those
These
jacks.
those
and those
bursts are
bursts.
tricky. Like, you want to jump through them, but if you mistime it, you're gonna get massive issues. You have to like flam it to some extent.
Yeah, Toda Street is not having a fun time at all on those bursts.
Don't blame them. Those bursts are nasty, as you can see. Like, multiple players dropping. Toda Street and Adrian just getting full 200s, and now we're entering the one of the harder parts of the chart again, the polyrhythm section. You can see Adrian having notable issues timing.
Cheetos and Bumpy Ho still the only ones holding the full combo though until the end. So really good job by them, but still France is pulling a fight, but it's not enough.
Not enough.
Consistency is just unbelievably strong.
I kind I want to point out Cheetos' consistency so far in the tournament. Like practically 99.7% average. Bumpinhill doing very good himself, pretty much getting 99.6% average too. But the French team just can't keep up, unfortunately. And it's not to say that those scores are bad too. Like 98.5 will beat like most players in like say like Poland or Canada, but not South Korea. And Guma with an interesting drop, maybe it's just lag from my part.
Yeah, everyone's got to remember that South Korea is considered to be the strongest team overall in the tournament.
Back Legendary as the coup de grace, potentially. This is not going to end well for fans. Like I said before, Red Legendaria is the hardest chart in the map whole, speed-wise. Like, it's not hard overall. Like, you can probably get a better score on average on that compared to, like, say, Apparition, if you're not fast enough. But it's still very hard. Like, the hardest part of the chart is 280 BPM jump stream, non-straightforward patterning, mind you. So it's pretty much close to, like, what, 28 notes per second, and the patterns are not straightforward. And as you can see from Total Ship and Agent's performance, like, they are going to get completely destroyed by this pick. One thing to point out as well, Jackaday actually has a double S on this chart. Cheetos with a 2x200.
Casually 100%ing this in the tournament. That would be cool.
Welcome back, Jackadays.
I don't know how I will play this without flashlight, honestly. I have no clue.
See, that's why you're not supposed to practice flashlight, Juan. You got too used to helping you with the density.
Well, I can always like grab two like bars or something, or just punch my computer until I only see a part of it.
Yeah, that should work.
Yeah, that should be fine. Adrian having issues already, interestingly. Total Sheet as well, but not as bad. These jump jacks are pretty straightforward. The patterns are pretty lenient. No super long anchors. Fun part's coming up pretty soon though.
Well, France is keeping up so far, at least into this part, but we are still waiting for the fast and harder section of the song.
Yeah.
That will be the point.
Here we go.
For massive drops.
Total Street just not entering properly, just massively tanking, using 3% the first one. And look at Shakadays and Cheetos go. Shakaday is hitting pretty late, but still double S material. There's one more dense junction left at the end, but I'm not too sure if that's gonna trip him over. Bumpinhill having massive issues himself, just dropping to about 98.3, just showing his Achilles heel there. And Total Ship and Agent just dropping below the S threshold.
Come on, Jackats. Casually 100% in this on the tournament. You can do it.
One more.
Just one more time.
Watch him get a 200 on the last note.
Oh!
And there
Double
we
S.
go. You can do it. Come on, Jackats. And he did it.
Strangle.
What in the world?
500,000 point difference. Jackadays with a double S. Very good ratio himself. Very good ratio. Cheeto's not doing too bad himself. 99.5%. Not bad for just a tournament setup. Bumpinhill doing very good himself as well. 98.8%. Guma 98.4, pretty good. 7 misses. But yeah, with that, South Korea clean sweeps France 6-0. France will be going to the losers bracket. I don't think they're gonna have any more matches this week.
No, they have to wait for the next weekend when they will face someone, because it's really hard to tell at this moment. Depends on the results.
If you lose in a winner's bracket, you won't have to play this week, right?
Unless you're playing the finals. Yep.
Yeah.
So the friends now should play with the whoever wins the lower bracket of the losers bracket, which is between Indonesia, Brazil, Canada, and Singapore.
Check with that. I'm actually not too sure, actually.
Okay, so yeah, Singapore will face off against Brazil. Canada will go up against Indonesia. The winner of those two teams will
face each other. Yeah.
And then the winner of that match will then face France next weekend.
All right. So next weekend.
Yep.
All
like
right.
France has already secured a spot into the top 6 with this, even with this lose. So top 6 is currently with United Kingdom, United States, South Korea, and France. We will have 2 more teams from the losers bracket.
Yeah. Man, I fear for France considering their performance in the semifinals map pool. The finals map pool coming from me because I made the map pool and I know how hard it is. This is not going to end well for France. But I really want to see how they will strategize because there's a lot of unique things that France could take advantage of. Anyway, we have about 45 minutes, give or take.
I guess that's all right.
I guess we can have some time for a Q&A. Maybe you can ask about the map polls, the commentators, the tournament, the players, anything under the sun that we can probably answer.